Good afternoon. Welcome to Who's Tom and Dick? With your hosts, Martin Weavers and Patrick Mortimer.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, Martin. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. And
Excellent
good
stuff.
afternoon to everybody all over the world.
Third podcast. Here we go again.
Yeah, do you realise we're actually going all over the world now, nearly?
I know. Yeah. I mean, the downloads that we've seen have amazed me really.
Gone to Asia, Oceania, Europe, and North America.
Blimey.
But we're still to crack South America and Africa.
Right.
So,
I'm not quite sure how we get through to those.
well, if anybody's got friends out there and they want to share the podcast, that's how we can do it.
Yeah. Good idea. Good idea.
One way.
Anyway, what have we got on the show today? Well, we're going to discuss the bowel, the cancer bowel. Also, I've got on my list adult pants. That's an interesting one.
Yeah. I thought it's a topic that we need to talk about, definitely.
Okay. I'll take your word for that one. Some interesting facts and a new feature this week, Martin's Joke of the Week.
Oh, we look forward to that one then.
So there you go. And of course, we're going to follow up with some listeners' comments and questions from previous weeks.
And some people who have written in.
Yep.
And we urge you all to write in and let us know how you're coping with all your different ailments and all that. And so we'd love you to share it with us on our Facebook page or on all the other ways that we can do it, all the other social media.
That's good. Anyway, let's start with the bowel. That's an interesting fact because obviously you said last week some cancer patients, when they finally get the all clear, they ring this bell. Is that a good thing?
It's a good thing for them, but it's not such a good thing for people like myself. We're going to be long-term sufferers. We're never going to have our cancer cured because all they can do is shrink mine and get it back to a controllable level, and I can live a normal life, but be aware of it and just always have it there in the background. But it's nice that these people can, because it is a celebratory thing, isn't it?
Some of these things can have a negative effect as well, can't they? Because I mean, I guess everybody would love to be able to ring that bell at the end of all the treatment and one thing and another, and of course, not everybody can.
No. As I said, the people learning to live with their cancer never will, but it's brilliant for the people who can. And I when I walk past, because I come from the oncology unit to go and get my drugs that they give me, and I can actually see the bell from where I walk past.
Right. Have you actually heard it rung?
I have heard it rung. Yeah. When I was in G1, because the ward is right next to it, and I've been in G1 several times.
Yeah.
They've got 12 rooms, and I've been in 7 of them.
Okay. So, and how did that make you feel when you heard it ring?
Really happy for the person who's doing it, and thinking I would love to be able to see their faces, because it's such a happy thing, and such a happy thing they can share with their families as well.
Yeah.
But of course, you do have to look on the negative side of it, that some of our cancers can come back, which we hope they don't. So we hope that's never ever short-lived,
right,
and that they live a long life after ringing the bell.
So do we give that a thumbs up from cancer patients that know they're never going to ring it? Or do we give it a thumbs down?
Personally, I would give it a thumbs up. I hope everybody would. I don't think many people wouldn't.
No.
Because they'd always want to see somebody happy, wouldn't they? But it's 100% a thumbs up from me.
Well, perhaps we should just spare a thought for all those that will not ring that bell. Anyway, an interesting subject that you've brought up is the adult pants.
Yeah. Well, you see a lot of adverts on TV at the moment, and it really annoys me that they're only for women. I think I have seen one advert for men, but with cancer, these pants are very, very, very important. If somebody told me 4 years ago that I would have worn them, then I probably would have laughed at them, because it's not a thing that I believe that I would have worn. But when you get the cancer and you have the tablets, some of the tablets actually do make you lose control of your bowel.
Yeah, right.
And that's obviously why certain times you have to wear them. I've wore them in bed, and when I have because a lot of the tablets give you sickness and diarrhea as well.
Yeah.
And obviously, that's the time when you haven't got control. And I, unfortunately, have lost control once, but good job I had these adult pants on.
Yeah, so I suppose that gives you some sort of confidence when you know you're in that situation.
Well, it does, because, there's nothing worse than thinking, God, do I want to go to the toilet? And I'm going to make a confession now. I've actually sung on stage with a pair on.
Right.
Just in case, because I said to the boys in the band, because I did show them, and I said, look at my groovy pants and all that. And they said, well, if you've got to wear them, you've got to wear them. There was no laughter or smirking or nothing like that. And it just gave me the word you just said, the confidence, because I knew that if anything did happen, it would happen inside those. The audience wouldn't know.
No.
But it would only be a minor thing, because obviously, you go to the toilet before you go on stage.
Yeah.
But it's just in an emergency, because, sometimes you don't know when your bowel is going to let you down.
No, I suppose it is really, really a confidence booster,
It is, because you just know that you're on that, or I knew I was on that stage, and I knew I wasn't going to embarrass myself. And not a single person in that audience would have known. I've looked at the photographs afterwards. It was when I did the Key Theatre. You was at the show that night.
Yeah.
And you didn't have
No idea.
No. So but it's something I don't mind admitting that I had to wear them. I think a lot of people are embarrassed about having to wear them.
Right.
But certainly don't be embarrassed, because it's part and parcel of our illness with what you have. It's a different illness, isn't it?
It is, but some of the tablets that I take, still give you side effects, and
oh, do they? What
oh yeah, and often I'll have an upset stomach and feel the same. I haven't actually had to wear any of the pants, so to speak, but I've had upset stomachs and thought, well, today I'm not going to travel far away from the toilet. But apart from that, not as bad as you, obviously, because your tablet list goes on as long as your arm.
Yeah,
So,
well, we spoke about this yesterday on the phone, didn't we? We was talking about acid reflux.
exactly, yeah.
That's that's a common thing we share. But with acid, that is in your gastro, it all going down right down to your bowel. So it is a thing that could, well, I hope it doesn't affect you.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
one day it could.
Well, it affects me more at night, because when you lay down, the acids flow back up to your throat, and you get that nasty acidy flavour in your mouth. And so I take a mouthful of Gaviscon every night before I go to bed, and that seems to do the trick at the moment. So
Other
that's good.
mouthwashes are available.
Well, yes, yeah.
I always have to say that.
We're not getting sponsored by anybody.
There's an idea.
Yeah.
Gaviscon.
But you find ways around these things, don't you? You have to, and the tablets do provide side effects, and those side effects, affect your daily life.
Well, I think Linny was really shocked when I told her to first pick up a pack of them. And the first pack she brought back, I think they were for kids. I couldn't get one leg in it. But she knows the size to get now. And I'm actually going to start doing on Facebook a blog of my daily thing.
Yeah.
Of what happened, from the first diagnosis to having the chest drained, which is another thing we're going to talk about another week, isn't it?
Yes.
Chest drains. And then I was going to put a picture of these pants that I actually wear eventually, because it's just a blog to show everybody what a cancer sufferer goes through.
Have you actually been into the chemist to buy a pair of these pants?
I have.
Have you?
Well, no, I go to Tesco's.
I imagine you going up to the counter and saying, "Excuse me, madam, can I have a pair of condoms, please?"
Yes, it's less embarrassing
I was gonna say,
buying condoms than it is the adult pant. No, I must admit, first of all, it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
And I used to put it underneath me shopping.
Right.
But now I thought, what the heck? It goes on top.
Yeah.
I can't help what I've got.
No.
So,
no, it's interesting. So where do you actually get I take it you get these from the chemist?
yeah, you can buy them over the counter at Tesco. I dare say you can get them from pharmacies as well, but you just go into Tesco's and buy them. There's a big section of ladies and men's, and I know that a certain pair that I like.
Yeah. Do they do any style?
Just blue.
Just blue.
It's a shame they don't do red for my football team, but
Right. Okay. Oh, great. Well, I see you've got a list of interesting facts there, Martin.
I've got
Would you
some
like to come up?
fantastic facts. Yeah.
Okay.
I like to look up about different things about not necessarily about my cancer, but just about cancer in general, and found out I think I did mention it last week or the week before. There's actually 200 types that they've found in the last 10 years because they're doing more and more tests nowadays. And my cancer was found relatively newly, just a few years ago. When I first had this, the doctor said 2 to 4 years, but he's got people living 7, 8 years on, and I want to be 9 years on, as I've always said. But 20 years ago, I would have lived for 3 months.
Right.
Because that's how far tablets have advanced on finding all these different types of cancers.
Yeah.
So, and they're even got naked mole rats now that they've found, and they're immune to cancer.
Right.
And the reason why they're immune is because they're covered in a substance called, this is a long word, hyaluronan. And try saying that. I'll only say it once.
Yeah.
And apparently this acts as a lubricant on their body and can lead to the treatment in the future for cancer.
Right.
So that's one to look out for. Breast cancer.
Yeah.
That's very, very common, obviously, as we know. And more men are finding it now. But did you know it's more common in the left breast?
No.
Yeah, it's more common in the left breast. The left-hand side of the body is 10% more prone to melanoma as well. So, they were the facts that I found about cancer. I've got plenty more facts about what happened on this day, though.
Right. Okay. Let's have another one then.
Did you know it was the first Paddington book was out today?
No.
And the first stone was laid in the White House.
Right.
Yeah.
What, by Paddington?
I don't think so. But it's also the birthday of the US Navy. So this is to my friend Anthony Lopez in America because he was in the Navy.
Okay.
Yeah, out there. They're my amazing facts.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, Martin's joke of the week.
A doctor receptionist says to the doctor, "There's a patient on the phone who says he's invisible." The doctor replies, "Tell him I can't see him." Thank you.
Right. We will look forward to another one of those next week, won't
They
we?
might get better.
Yeah. One question was raised last week from one lady, and she said, does hypnosis or could hypnosis help cure cancer or heart disease?
It's not the comedy stage hypnosis.
No. So the answer to that is no. But what it can do is it can help towards anxiety. So if you suffer from anxiety, then hypnosis can be a good way of trying to reduce your anxiety through relaxation and other methods.
Because it stops people smoking, doesn't it?
Well, you can, yeah, because basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to tap into people's subconscious minds rather than in their conscious minds. We all have two minds, basically the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind runs your body, and the conscious mind is the one that you use to communicate with, basically, and, the awakened mind, shall we say. So, you're sort of trying to tap into the subconscious mind and help somebody give up smoking, reduce their anxieties and all sorts of things. So that's where a therapist can help. But it won't cure cancer, it won't cure heart disease, but it will help with your anxiety if that's something you want to try.
Is that what somebody's asked on the...
Yeah, that's a question, yeah.
See, that's good, because now they've asked the question, and with your knowledge of that, you could answer that, but anything you want to ask, we'd always help you with if we can.
Yeah.
We're not going to make it up. We're going to talk from first-hand experience, aren't we, Pat?
Well, and cancer is all cancer and heart disease, are physical illnesses, and hypnosis is not a miracle cure, but it can help towards your state of mind. But take professional advice and make your own minds up, really.
And another thing we found this week, and about our friends who told us that they'd got a form of cancer, hadn't we?
Yeah, which really opened up a door.
Yeah, which we didn't even know of. A couple of them are actually going to come on and talk about it, aren't they, as well?
Yeah, got some good guests lined up for future shows.
Yeah,
which will be great, and we'll be bringing them along to discuss that later on. So, what questions have we been asked this week, Martin?
We've had some comments from a couple of people. That's what I really want to talk about.
Yeah.
A lady called Jeanette Cotton. I do believe she's a friend of yours. Sorry she's a bit late to listen. So, and she's thoroughly enjoyed our podcasts, and she herself has alpha trispin 1, which I hadn't heard of, and emphysema. And apparently it's hereditary. She's never smoked in her life.
Right.
which we was talking about this the other day with cancers, weren't we?
Yeah.
With Roy Castle.
Mm-hmm.
And she knows what it's like not to be able to breathe. But unfortunately, she's passed this on to her eldest son, who's not even a smoker himself.
By being hereditary, I would take it.
I presume so, yeah.
Yeah.
But the youngest son, he hasn't got it.
Right.
So, well, it's good and bad, isn't it, really? But she says it's really odd. She's been through all the lockdown, avoiding people, as she knew that if COVID struck her, it would knock her for 6. But she did catch it 4 months ago, and luckily she's saying that it didn't knock her off her feet this time. And she finishes by saying, looking forward to hearing the next podcast.
Oh, good. Thanks, Jeanette.
So that's from Jeanette.
Much appreciated.
We also had a communication from Hazel, who, thank you very much, Hazel, for spotting our N missing in our titles.
Oh, yes. Yeah, well, I'm sorry. My spelling isn't my strong point. So if you notice any more, that's me.
Yeah, I don't do the writing. But Hazel said she didn't know if I was sure that she's got autoimmune condition called lupus. I'll read what she put. When I was diagnosed, the consultant said he was very impressed at how calmly I reacted to the diagnosis. I remember my mum having this as well, and it's very, very painful. And my nephew had it, lupus, and he used to have to have his kidney. He had a kidney transplant in the end.
All right.
But he had to go on a dialysis machine.
Yeah.
All the time. So I know what you're going through here, Hazel. So she says, my response was, you've just told me I have an incurable condition. There's nothing, absolutely nothing I can do about it. So there's no point in stressing about it. I just have to learn to live with it, she says. And I have. I've been very lucky with my GP. And at the outset, he was absolutely amazing and worked with me to get it under control. I'm lucky compared to a lot of lupus sufferers. And I always tell people I've got lupus. It hasn't got me, which is a good way of looking at it.
Well, it is,
it?
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people living with illnesses, and that's what you have to do. You have to adapt.
That's the kind of thing we want to hear on here, isn't
exactly.
it?
And see how people are coping, because some people can't cope as well as others.
No, I like that. I've got lupus. It hasn't got me.
Yeah.
And I suppose you could say that with lots of illnesses as well, couldn't you, really?
Yeah.
I've got lung cancer, but it hasn't got me. I like that, Hazel. Well done. And she finishes with, I think you and Patrick are both very brave and an excellent role models. Thank you very much.
Well, that's very kind of you. Thank you.
Yeah, it is. And the last bit, she says, Audrey would be bursting with pride. Audrey's my mum.
Yeah.
So I'd like to think she would be looking down. And it would have been her birthday tomorrow. So happy heavenly birthday to my mum for tomorrow.
Jennifer has asked, is there a smartwatch that can accurately measure blood pressure? Well, do you know, Martin?
I shouldn't think so. Not 100% to the point. They would probably measure them to a certain bit, but I certainly wouldn't trust one.
Yeah, I know there are smartwatches out there that claim to be able to measure blood pressures. So perhaps somebody may be able to give us the benefit of their experience with those. But I think I'd revert back to the old system with the machine and the strap on the arm. And
yeah, you can't beat those. I've got one at home, and I've got the temperature on it as well.
Yeah.
In fact, I was sent home from hospital. I don't know if anyone else has had this, but there's a thing called a virtual clinic.
Yeah.
And you actually get sent home with an iPad, so you can talk to the doctor via a conversation when they call you on a Zoom thing the next, or anytime
Zoom
they want
meeting.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also on there they have they give you the thermometer for your head. You have to put on, to click on your head to get your temperature, and then also the pump up on your arm. And everything gets registered, and you're on a tag as well. So some other people might have had these virtual wards, but I didn't really like them. I didn't feel right with it. And I went into Tesco's one day, and I got a call from the doctor. Where have you been? So I said, I've been shopping. And apparently I'd gone out of range for the tag.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a certain range on these tags. So virtually they're keeping you at home because you're meant to be in a hospital ward, really.
Yeah.
But it frees a bed up by putting you at home with all the tests.
Right.
And they can test everything through this strap on their leg, which goes back to the watch as well. Is that accurate? Is this strap on my leg accurate?
Yeah, yeah. Funny one here from an anonymous contributor says, is it usual to be able to see your pulse through your wrist? Well, I'm just looking at my wrist and I'm quite thin and I can't see mine, but I can't see that there's...
I think you can from time to time, yeah. When your blood pressure is pumped up more.
Right.
Yeah, I would say you can.
Yeah, I can feel it, but I can't see any movement there. But
I think you wouldn't see your blood pressure, you would see your vein pulse.
Now, that's what she's saying. Can you see your pulse in your wrist? Is that usual or unusual? Well, I think that's probably okay.
Yeah.
But if you've got any concerns, we're not doctors. Get it checked out. Simple as that.
So, have you got any more questions on there, Pat?
I've just got one more here from Amy. She says, "Which is better, a CT scan, angiogram, or MRI?" Well, they're all very different, but if you're talking about heart disease and looking at your arteries, the angiogram is probably the most accurate. This is, in my opinion, because they can see exactly what's going on. I think they can with an MRI, but not quite as accurately as they can with an angiogram. And an angiogram is a little bit more invasive, whereas an MRI, you sit under a machine and it goes over you.
And the CT you just go in it. It's like a donut.
Yeah.
I have to have that for my chest.
Right. Yeah.
And I had to have the MRI. You have a helmet fitted.
Yeah.
As well. Well, like you do for your head.
Right.
And you go through the tunnel. Very, very claustrophobic. I didn't like that.
No.
Some people go through them like I don't know what. But the first time they said to me, "You'll be in it for 15 minutes." That's right.
Yeah.
So I worked out 15 minutes to be 5 songs because they play music through your headphones.
Right.
Anyway, I got to 5 songs and then it went to a 6th song.
Right.
And I was already feeling panicky. And then suddenly I thought, I'm going to have to get out of here because they give you a little button to press in there, in the MRI this is.
Yeah.
And then it got to a 7th song.
Right.
And then it started up on the 8th song and I thought, right, this button's going. And then suddenly it stopped and I came out because the feeling, it was like a pneumatic drill on your head.
Don't they give you the helmet to sort of deaden the sound?
Yeah, but you can hear the thud of it.
Yeah.
That's the impression I got.
Yeah.
But I mean, was this person asking which is the best, as in order that we'd rather have?
No, I think she's asking which is the best to diagnose an issue rather than the best one to take.
Right.
So the MRI is although it's not intrusive, it's quite uncomfortable, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
if you're claustrophobic,
CT is fine.
Yeah.
You just go through that and slide it backwards and forwards. You do have to hold your breath on it.
Yeah.
As an American, and hold your breath and release.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the angiogram is where they put a dye into your blood, and then they can scan the arteries.
Yes.
And that shows blockages or narrowings and things like that. So for heart disease, that's probably the best one.
They do that for cancer as well.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, I definitely had it for cancer.
Right.
But I can't remember what stage of my treatment I was having it. But I do remember having a dye put in.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's quite interesting because they didn't give me any results when I had it done, but they did allow me to watch the screen.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I asked actually because that was pointed towards the window, and I said, "Is there any chance this can be moved so I can see what's going on?" Mm-hmm. And they turned it around, and that's quite interesting. You just saw his blood flowing around.
Yeah.
But
I was asked if I wanted to see the screen when I had my endoscopy.
Yeah.
And I did actually watch it because I found it very interesting.
Right.
Because part of the drugs I was on made my bowel irritable. And so I had to go for one of these, but I did find it quite interesting.
Yeah. All right. So, you've been away in Betsy for a couple of days. How was that experience?
It was just nice to get away.
Yeah.
Because I had the pneumonia, I had the sepsis, and I had the collapsed lung. All in hospital for 2 months. Just couldn't get away.
Right.
And we booked a holiday, and laying in my hospital bed, I had to get on Airbnb and cancel it. And it was just so disappointing, especially for Linny, because she's working hard. Because obviously, I can't work now with the way I am. But she's working like a good one, and then she was going to have a holiday to the Cotswolds, and it got cancelled. So,
yeah. Holidays are quite difficult, really, because now I've had my 2 heart attacks. Every time if I go abroad, I have to get travel insurance. And of course, travel insurance is really, really expensive. One of the tasks I have is trawling the internet to try and find holiday insurance. And my single trip holiday insurance to the United States to go and see my son for a week is £457 for one-off trip to make sure I'm covered. And of course, you do really need, they pick a figure of about 15 million cover for hospital care. But in the States, that's not a lot of money, believe it or not.
No.
So you really almost need an open-ended checkbook for your care. So that's one problem. I
wonder how much it's going to cost me to go to Gloucester next week then.
I think you might be all right. Yeah, I think they'll pay you to go to Gloucester. So that's perhaps something we can talk about. And if anybody's got any experiences of holiday insurance or a good place to buy, perhaps you can let us know, because it's always a difficult one for me, and your experiences would be appreciated. Anyway, back to the van that you're painting and decorating at the moment. How was the stay in the van? Was it cold? Was it chilly? Was it rocky?
No, it was really good because we'd got really good sleeping bags anyway. And what we decided to do, I was going to sleep on one bed and Lenny was going to sleep on the other bed. So we had to convert the table into the bed. Not the bed into the table into the bed.
Yeah.
And I slept on there, and Lenny went above the driver's cab. Now, the one above the driver's cab has got the comfiest cushion on it to lay on. But anyway, I gave that up because I thought, I'm getting older now. If I've got to get up to the toilet in the middle of the night, you've got to climb down a ladder. And I certainly didn't want that. But we got, all the blankets, all the quilts were fantastic. We got the furry covers on, and we had a great couple of days away.
It was warm enough?
Yeah, well, I didn't even put the heating on.
Right.
Well, because we cooked in it, I think the heat kept in there because we got two ring gas cooker, and the heat from them warms up nicely.
Yeah.
So looking forward to all the visits of places we go to now.
Yeah, because it must be difficult for you to actually book any holidays nowadays, because obviously you don't know how you're going to feel. Obviously you can't go abroad, can you really?
No, we've given up on abroad now.
Yeah.
Well, we lived there for 3 years. But if insurance is anything like you're mentioning, I'm glad I'm not going to go abroad.
Yeah. So who drove this wagon? Was it you, or did Lenny have a go?
I drove it there, and I drove it back, thinking, Lenny didn't even drive this time.
All right.
Yeah, cause she drove when we went out for a little practice in it, and we just to get used to it. And she drove all the way back from Norwich, and when next time we go on a longer journey, we'll take it in turns, definitely. Shall we tell them who we got on next week?
Yes, a good idea, Martin.
We've got my friend coming in called Andy Reid. Andy's had a heart attack. He's been in a coma for 3.5 weeks. He's been fitted with stoma bags and everything like that. And I just don't know how he's so jolly now, isn't he?
Yeah.
And because we know him through the Sporting Memories Club. And he's going to come in and he's going to talk all about everything he goes through, his tablets and everything. So
yeah, well, he actually, you say heart attack, and this is where it gets very confusing. He actually had a cardiac arrest.
Yes.
And then obviously a coma, and on top of that, he had a perforated bowel.
That's right. Hence the stoma bag.
Yeah, so there's a lot to discuss there and go into. So I'm sure you'll really find this one interesting, because we're going to let him ramble. And he can ramble.
It's his show.
It's his show. So tune in for that.
And just before we go, I want to wish Paul Simon, the singer, a happy birthday, and Sacha Baron Cohen and Marie Osmond as well. And it would have been poor old Maggie Thatcher's birthday today as well.
Would it?
Bless her. Love her or hate her.
Mixed feelings about that one, I guess.
I know.
Well, it's come to the end again, Martin.
It has. I've enjoyed the show.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to next week with Andy.
Yeah, definitely.
You keep well.
Yes. And if you've got any questions, don't forget to put them on our page.
Thanks for listening to Tom and Dick, and we'll be back with you next Friday. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.